severe on everyone you meet. They come on the street, they give their lives. We are the people, they won't take us alive. Mutilation, torture, murder, genocide, mechanics of death. All through the sky, a new heaven awaits. An afterlife of this, we must stand strong. We must resist. They come on the street, they spill their lies. We are the people, they want to take us
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages. It's time for Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, and it is 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, and you are locked in right here. So we have all kinds of spicy news, just the type of news I'm always looking for. And look, there's plenty of news about Trump and tariffs, and we'll get into some of that. And plenty of news about the Epstein stuff and Ghislaine Maxwell, and we'll get into that. Oh, you know what? Okay, so Still Not Banned here, right before the show went live, asked me if I saw something about a love triangle. I said I didn't, but I actually have this story she's talking about. I have it on the docket. I have not read it yet, so we'll get into that as well. We've got all kinds of stuff. Third Railify in the chat says, "Oh, Mild, give it to me spicy." And so we've got 3 chatters now. Before, like way up there, way before the chat went live, we had our good friend Sanglan86 stopping by. Cheers to him, and a cheers to Still Not Banned here. Cheers to you. And one for Third Railify. Thank you, all 3 of you folks. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Let's get some sound effects rolling. let's see. Sanglant, his chats were about his Rumble verification not working, so we're just gonna say that Rumble came through with a lie detector test, and well,
lie detector test determined that was a lie.
and since Still Not Banned here is talking about people being set on fire, we got to make sure we have the smoke detector working. All right, we got that going on. Good, good, good. And then third, Railify wants something spicy. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. Cheers and welcome to everybody. Welcome to everybody. All right. So let's kind of buzz through a couple of financial news topics real quick. Get the boring stuff out of the way while people are still filtering into the show. First off, the Federal Reserve has stuck to his guns and has not raised interest rates again. Jerome Powell gave little indication on Wednesday of bowing anytime soon to Trump's frequent demands that he cut interest rates, even as sign his dissent emerged on the Fed's governing board. Yeah, it was, I think it was 10-2 to continue with the high rates. Fed left its short-term interest rate unchanged for the fifth time this year at about 4.3 as was expected, but Powell also signaled that it could take months for the Fed to determine whether the tariffs would push up inflation temporarily or lead to a more persistent bout of higher prices. His comments suggest that a rate cut in September, which had been expected by some economists and investors, is now less likely. Dear Lord. Third Railify says, fire that cunt. Yeah. We've learned that the process will probably be slower than expected, Powell said. We think we have a long way to go to really understand how low the tariffs will affect inflation and economy. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to continue to read that. I mean, it's obvious this is going to have an effect on nothing because, yeah, house prices are just going to continue to get out of control. And when you have the prices of housing high, interest rates high, of course, the people aren't going to be able to get loans and afford the houses at all or afford loans for really anything. All right. And so he's talking about tariffs there. So let's go ahead and get into this. From Reuters, Trump has issued a blitz of tariff announcements on copper, Brazil, and small value imports. Trump on Wednesday issued a blitz of tariff announcement ranging from changes to previously threatened levies on imports of copper and goods from Brazil to ending an exemption of tariffs for small value shipments from overseas. The wave of announcements came as the clock ticks down toward the August 1st deadline for higher tariff rates to kick in on goods imported from most of the world as Trump presses on with his bid to reshape global trade. The president's also touted ongoing negotiations with key trading partners, including South Korea, capping a day that began with Trump announcing a 25% tariff trade deal on goods from India after months of negotiation between Washington and New Delhi failed to produce a trade deal. Trump said a 50% tariff on copper pipes and wiring would kick in Friday. So there you go. You got high tariffs, and because the Federal Reserve is freaking corrupt, they want to punish Trump for levying tariffs, saying, "Oh, it's we're going to have an inflation cutting measure by keeping interest rates high." I call bullshit. Look, the inflation rate is going to continue to be sort of out of control, and Trump's claiming it's going down. The Trump administration's claiming it's going down, but we're going to have to deal with that pain. But the only way to deal with that pain is to start making things affordable. The problem is bankers know that when the interest rates get low but the prices stay high, people are less likely to pay back those loans. That's all there is to this. That's literally all there is to this. People are less likely to pay back their loans when prices are still high. Anyway, so we got news coming out of California. Good news coming out of California. I mean, it's not great news, but it's all right because Kamala Harris says she's not going to run for governor. And then ABC News says, oh, this could give her a greater leeway to run for president in 28. In recent months, I have given serious thought to asking the people of California for the privilege to serve as their governor. Hee hee, I love this state, its people, and its promise. It's my home, but after a deep reflection, I've decided that I will not run for governor in this election, she said Wednesday. I have extraordinary admiration and respect for those who dedicate their lives to public service to their communities, and to our nation. At the same time, we must recognize that our politics, our government, and our institutions have too often failed the American people, culminating in this moment of crisis. As we look ahead, we must be willing to pursue the change through new methods and fresh thinking, committed to our same values and principles, but not bound by the same playbook. And then said, I am a devout public servant, and from the earliest days of my career, oh God, she's not going to go on about being a little girl growing up. I have believed that the best way I could make a difference in people's lives and fight for a better future was to improve the system from within, and it has been a profound honor to do that work and serve the people of California and our nation as a prosecutor, attorney general, United States senator, and vice president. Okay, so yeah, she's appeared at a young voters summit, abortion rights advocacy groups, fundraising committees, and yeah, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, she's trying to stay visible. Sanguine 86 says the question is, how much did Newscum pay her not to run? That's a good question. Yeah, of course she's not ruling out 2028. All right, so Still Not Banned here gave us the little sneak preview, the little tease here, but I got to read it for myself. This one's from PBS News. Virginia city councilman set on fire in an attack over quote unquote personal matter. A city council member in Virginia was set on fire by a man who entered a local magazine's office through a locked door. Lee Vogler, 38, ran through the building covered in gasoline in an attack the investigators say stemmed from a personal matter that was unrelated to politics or his work as a councilman. He's an elected official in Danville, Virginia. The suspect entered Vogel's office where he works at a local magazine and confronted him and doused him in a flammable liquid. Both men then left the building, and the 29-year-old suspect set Vogler on fire. His condition wasn't immediately known. The suspect, Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes, wow, what a name, of Danville, was in police custody. Police said charges were pending, and it wasn't immediately known whether Hayes had a lawyer who could comment. The attack occurred at the office of Showcase Magazine, a monthly publication in Southwest Virginia and North Carolina. Magazine owner and publisher Andrew Brooks said there were two employees at the magazine's office at the time. The other employee called Brooks and told him what happened. Our door is locked, Brooks said. They forced their way into the office and went to Lee. The next thing, Lee is running through the office covered in gasoline, yelling for the office mate to call 911. The guy chased him outside and set him on fire. There's no justification for lashing out, he said. There's no amount of pain you can be under that can justify you inflicting violence on others. Elected officials and politicians through Virginia quickly condemned the attack. I know Vogler. He's a good friend and even greater councilman for Danville, said Attorney General Jason Meyerez in a statement. Hey, we got Cyrene Pickle in the chat. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Good having you there in the chat. Let me go see what we got for sound effects. Let's do the... Let's give you a yay. For now. All right. Said he had no, Democrat Abigail Spangberger and Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, both vying to be the next governor, released statements that they were praying for Vogler. He makes sales, but also writes stories about our community, Brooks said. His passion is being on the city council, Brooks said. He loves when people call them with a concern he can help them with and has been an asset to the community much of his adult life. He was young when he got on the city council, early 20s. He's made that his life. Okay, so still not banned here. Teased a love triangle. Let me see if I can... I'm not seeing anything about a love triangle, just that a personal matter caused... Just that a personal matter caused the guy to set the other guy on fire. All right, so let's do this. Let's get into the propaganda news. Let's move on from the guy getting set on fire. So we have really three huge news stories this week that have just been all over Rumble and Twitter. And I kind of on some level hate covering the things everyone else is covering. But at the same time, like, all three of these have to do with the media and marketing and propaganda. Like, this is my wheelhouse. These next three news articles are my wheelhouse. And so I can't ignore these three, even though you've already probably heard all the takes imaginable from every other creator on Rumble and X and YouTube. But we're going to get into it anyway. So let's go to this. Oh, that's what people are speculating in the comments. I wanted to hear something about, like, if it is a woman that he's setting fire over. I wanted to hear something about her, but I'm just hearing about the two guys. So I don't know. We'll see. So let's go to the advertising for American Eagle. I'm sure you folks have started to see the hubbub around this, and we'll get into it. But let's take a moment to admire the entire marketing campaign that American Eagle has come up with for Sydney Sweeney. Oh, wrong tab. There we go. Ads here.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
There she is on the floor. There's a gratuitous boob shot. Turn the volume down just a little bit. There's a third ad where you get to hear her zipper and her rolling her pants.
I bet you want to try these jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
Okay, there's a third ad. Here's a fourth ad. Oh, look. Okay, so you notice, like, the billboard says genes, like genetics. Notice that the billboard says that before she goes on. Then she covers it up with jeans, like the pants. Then you have this one.
Hi, I'm Sydney Sweeney, and I'm from Spokane, Washington. I can work as a local hire as well, though, and I'm available for the American Eagle.
A local hire. Is that a dog whistle to prostitutes? I think that's a dog whistle to prostitutes, but that could just be me.
Jeans campaign shoot.
Profile and hands, please.
Stop, don't shoot. No.
Thanks. We'll be in touch.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
Next.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable
gratuitous
jeans
tit
I've ever
shot.
worn. Or that they make
Now
your
the
butt
gratuitous
look
ass shot.
amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
It just goes
See what I
on
did
and
there,
on.
right?
right, here we go. Quiet all around, please. Lock it up. Let's roll sound. Roll camera, please. 2.
Wait, this playlist doesn't appear. There's a whole playlist here. It doesn't appear to have the one with the car. Oh, 2 unavailable videos are hidden. Weird. Huh. Maybe the propaganda, maybe the outrage, the leftist outrage has caused them to delete a couple videos. Anyway, so there are a lot of unhinged people that took the, I don't want to use the word dog whistle. They use the word dog whistle, but it's not a dog whistle. It was clearly a play on words. Clearly a play on words, jeans and jeans. And clearly saying that yes, there are some genetic attributes that are more admirable, right? Let's see, still not banned here says cute, jeans, clever. She's AI. They used someone related to their DNA. Now they're just trolling my making it into a story and making people report on it. Yeah, this could be a genius marketing campaign. To me, this kind of smells like some of the outrage could be anticipated or even perhaps botted. Like they planted some activists to get outraged about something that they could bring up. And I'm trying to bring up, there we go. They're mad about losing stocks and lawsuits and prosecutions, so still not banned here. I believe it. But it happened. I mean, we had several videos go viral. I'm just going to play one here just as an example of people's takes on the idea of using white people's genetics to market in marketing campaigns here. So let's see what this young lady has to say.
I really wasn't going to weigh in on this, but here we go. It is so difficult to grow up.
I really wasn't going to weigh in on this, but here we go. Isn't that how things go? Everything you're not going to talk about, well, I'm just going to talk about it. Fuck it.
Up as a person of color, specifically a woman, and view yourself as beautiful in any sense of the word growing up in this country. I remember growing up in a predominantly white community, wishing myself out of this body, out of this culture, take my name if it meant that I could wake up blonde-haired and blue-eyed.
Okay, so let's stop right there, okay? Yes, when you are a child, when you are a teenager, the only thing you want to be is anything other than what you are. This literally happens to everyone as a child. There are a few super privileged people out there who are like, no, my whole life was awesome. I love being me. I was given the whole world and did everything I wanted to do. But you know what? For the majority of people, the reason why marketing works, the reason why the beauty industry is what it is, we are inundated as a culture with messages of you are imperfect. There are perfect people out there. If you want to be as perfect people, you have to do these things. These are effective marketing strategies. And the fact that when we're teenagers and our brains are fucking developing, right? When we're still cooking, when we're still trying to find our place in the fucking world, that shit's super effective. And nobody, even the most beautiful, like there are so many like preteen girls that I have known that are like, no, I'm fat. And they fucking look like Sydney Sweeney in the fucking ad. It's on the one hand, I agree with the feminists. It's beauty standards that are impossible to live up to. But you know what? It's also fake. It's also TV. It's also somewhat entertaining and marketing. You have to go into life. And this is something that she should be telling her kids. Everybody should be telling their kids. Like, it's supposed to be a fantasy. See all these comic books behind me? They're supposed to be a fantasy. At some point, I can't base my self-esteem off of the fact that I read a book where a guy can fly and shoot lasers out of his eyes. Just like you shouldn't base your worth and your self-value on marketable traits. At the same time, look, I rant and rant and rant about the what do you call it? The body positivity culture and shit like that. Be healthy for yourself. Care about your appearance for yourself. Care about your cleanliness for your health. The problem is these women, they get these plastic surgeries. This chick here, the one on the far right, has caked on her makeup and she's in a towel talking about these beauty standards and how brown girls can never live up to the blonde-haired, blue-eyed ideal. Whoever said you had to?
Never having to explain who I am or worry about being accepted. That is why this American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is especially off-putting. There's a lot of rhetoric right now online about the political ideologies that this represents, and I don't discount that, but for me, I can't help but think about the 13-year-old brown girl who gets all her denim at American Eagle, who already struggles to see her beauty and worth in a world that continues to value white, Eurocentric beauty standards, which I naively
White Eurocentric beauty standards. You just said the young brown girl's already buying her denim at American Eagle. Well, guess what? Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. I mean, how? Yes, Sangland 86. How did she miss the contact and weave shops? Yes. It's American Eagle's bad, but these things aren't.
thought by this point we would have moved the needle on. And this girl is now wishing she too could wake up with blonde hair and blue eyes. It took me so long, too long in my life to look in the mirror and see beauty. And I hate that that continues to be a shared experience for young brown girls in this country.
Okay, so I'm going to bring that down because we've beat that to death a little bit. But this whole narrative around the Sydney Sweeney stuff, and now we've got part 2 happening now with a new Dunkin' Donuts ad, and I'll play it in a second. This whole narrative, and I think Dunkin' Donuts may just be trying to hop on the outrage train that got started by American Eagle. But this idea, there are people calling this downright Nazi, that the talk about good genetics is kind of smells of eugenics and Heinrich Himmler and the Nazi experimentation and the future of the white race kind of conversations that tend to happen in more white supremacist circles. And I say, okay, but it's just an ad campaign. Nobody's literally saying that only good genes are only found in white people. Nobody's saying, there's a difference between white supremacy and saying that white girl has some genetic traits that are admirable. Like, no one's saying she can, she was born with the genetics where she could lift it, where she's Superman. No one is saying that she is somehow this otherworldly being who is perfect in every way. It's literally an advertising campaign that says, hey, she looks good. Our jeans look good on them. Our jeans could look good on you too. And then you have this with Dunkin' Donuts. This is almost too on the nose. I really think Dunkin' Donuts did this in response to the outrage. I really do.
Look, I didn't ask to be the king of summer. It just kind of happened. This tan? Genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer. Literally.
Color analysis?
Can't help it. Every time I drink a Dunkin' Golden Hour refresher, it's like the sun just finds me. So if sipping these refreshers makes me the king of summer, guilty as charged.
Okay, so for one, this ad doesn't even make sense to me, because on the one hand, he says it's genetics. On the other hand, he says it's when he drinks this, the sun finds him. So which is it? Which is it? I mean, it's like they're just poking the bear at this point.
The Golden Hour refresher. Only at Dunkin'.
All the talk about genetics. Now look, I will say this last girl, the one I was just showing you, the one complaining about beauty standards and brown girls not feeling, I don't know, good enough. Look, we've just come out of a good 5 years of our marketing campaigns being solely targeting LGBTQ, body positivity, and black girl magic. Still Not Banned here says, submit some diverse models for the gig. I don't know what to tell you. Talk to the group that owns all these companies. I say nay. I say nay. There's room for all. I'm an egalitarian. You know, there are lots of people who will get on here and Nazi dog whistle and Sangland says less than 1% juice in that drink. All right. Yeah. There are lots of people who will just say, yeah, you know, it's okay to be white. And it is okay to be white. But it's okay to be everything. I'm not going to sit here and beat up some racial narrative, which, you know, I could do. And there are ways in which that's, I think, appropriate. But to me, the issue is not a racial one. It's an equality one. It's a, you know what? We can have ads for you folks, and we can have ads for other folks, and we could have ads that I can relate to. This is one of the things about comics that I have been yelling about from the rooftops, is this idea that we have to have a black Spider-Man and a black Iron Man and a black Batman and a gay Robin. And, you know, it's like, well, no, representation matters. Well, okay, you're correct. But let's not act like there haven't always been gay superheroes, black superheroes, women superheroes. Why all of a sudden all the straight white male superheroes need to be replaced? Why all of a sudden is it unacceptable to essentially have marketing campaigns where they talk about white people as pretty? Sangland says they killed all the black superheroes. I mean, to some degree. I you know what? Here's what I'll say. I personally can't wait. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no faith in James Gunn and his DC universe, but I think this Lanterns show is going to be awesome. And the fact that Jon Stewart's going to be the not Jon Stewart, the talk show host, that Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern character, black dude, is going to be fucking amazing. Darth Hideous says, before they get to fucking around, Goku and Vegeta are straight Japanese superheroes and they better not fuck around. Cheers and welcome, Darth Hideous. Good seeing you in the chat. Good seeing you in the chat. We'll play you the air horn here. Good seeing you. All right, so that's the first race war outrage of the week, and of course there was one. There was a follow up. There's three race war outrages this week. We'll get into the second one now. Oh shit! Everyone hit follow and like. This is not an ad that Maya will definitely not pay me $2 for. I mean, are you live somewhere? Are you somewhere that I could even pay you $2? That's my first comment. Yeah. So here we go. All right. So let's get into one of the other racial conversations that happened this week as a gunman opened fire in New York City. See, how many people did he kill? I forgot. Killed 4, including an NYPD cop. And he entered an office building. Singlet says he's still waiting for Meteor Man 2. Yeah. So yeah, he entered an office building, opened fire on people. And this is what Aaron Burnett of CNN had to say about the suspect.
Showing you here, John's reporting that they do know what he looks like. Male, possibly white, mustache, sunglasses, in that building, isolated to, they believe, to various locations, including upper floors, is where they're focused. What are you learning, Shimon?
Okay, so yes, CNN's report was that it was probably a white male. Probably a white male. So again, he has good genes, right? So this is what the title of the stream's about. So this is your white male right here. So the reason he's in a football uniform, this has become a big part of the story now, as New York Post is now reporting, or has been reporting, that the mass shooter Shane Tamura, that's him, Shane Tamura, was found with a note blaming the NFL for giving him CTE, even though he never played pro football. A gunman behind the fatal rampage at a Midtown skyscraper was carrying a suicide note revealing he targeted the NFL's headquarters because he believed himself to suffer a football-related brain injury. New York Post is reporting. 3-page note found in his wallet after he shot and killed an NYPD officer and other 3 innocent victims. Killed himself Monday. Railed against the NFL, law enforcement sources have said. The scrawled ramblings blamed football for his perceived struggle with CTE, despite not playing the sport past high school. And then here you see he's got a Las Vegas concealed firearms permit. Please study brain for CTE. I'm sorry. The league knowingly concealed the dangers to our brains to maximize profits. They failed us, the note read. And it's a degenerative brain disease. I'm sure you guys have heard about CTE to some degree. There was a whole hubbub over football helmets a couple years ago. Symptoms include aggression and other behavioral norms, memory loss, and in the late stages, dementia. It can only be diagnosed by dissecting the brain after death. The medical examiner will determine whether the brain will be studied for CTE, and I've heard that they have now made that determination that yes, they will actually check him for CTE. And another note in his apartment said something like, "When I look into you and Dad's eyes, I see complete disappointment," referring to his parents. And so, yeah. Workers barricaded themselves into the offices. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there about the fact that one of the people who he killed was the CEO of a investment bureau. Here's the note. All these doctors, thank you for Frontline documentary, which was a documentary on NBC Frontline about CTE. Chris Nowinski, he's a professional wrestler who's been talking about the CTE stuff. League knowingly concealed the dangers to our brains to maximize profits. They failed us. So there we have it. Oh, my Lord, my Lord. Oh, this needs to go further away. All right, let's move on. Look, what the heck just happened? Why is my OBS switch over to Twitch? 5 coffee enema a day. What the fuck? What? Cult planned either way. They want it to be a white dude so bad. Yeah, that was really part of the issue here for me. Is obviously this is being used for every propaganda that you can spin this. It's, you have this Blackstone investment group. You have people from that dying, and leftists once again cheering at the murder of a CEO of a big corporation. You have leftists also saying, including the fucking mayor and governor, saying that the big problem with this whole story was the fact that Nevada has lax gun laws. I mean, you saw the guy's concealed carry permit. They don't just hand those out in Cracker Jack boxes in Las Vegas. And now we're hearing news reports that someone illegally gave him the gun. It's all like, what's the point of these stupid gun laws in New York City? They don't stop shit. What they do stop is, here, let me go ahead and bring this up. They do stop this. Let me show you the fuck around and find out moment of the week. As we go to Anchorage, Alaska. Go to Anchorage, Alaska here for the fuck around and find out moment of the week. You can't see it, but there's a guy somewhere up in through here wearing a gray shirt with a sort of black detail on it. Eventually, you're going to see the crowd kind of disperse a little bit, and you're going to see that person's got a gun, and he's going to start firing into a crowd. You see these two security officials over here on the left? Right here? This guy's carrying a pretty nice looking rifle there. And let's see what happens when this guy over here fucks around and finds out. There it is. See, there's a little tussle. He pulls out his gun, starts firing that way. You didn't see it there. See, there's a little tussle. This guy pulls away right here. And yeah, it's a little blurry. Sorry, but yes, you can see, boom, there's a shot. This guy, boom, 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 boom. You're dead. You're dead. You've done fucked around and found out. So this is why these stupid laws in New York, Mr. Tamura, Shane Tamura, could have been stopped like this had we had a good guy with a gun on the scene. But instead we got CEOs and office workers dead in New York. And I'm going to laugh if my YouTube account gets taken down for showing this senseless killing. Let's see. That needs to go later in the show too. I don't know why I got all this shit out of order. Let's go on to Cincinnati, should we? Should we go on to Cincinnati? Let's talk about the Cincinnati situation because the third race war of the week. Last weekend, the city of Cincinnati had a jazz festival in its downtown area. And usually, let me just stop right there and say, look, I was at the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City a couple years ago, where there was an individual who opened fire in the crowd and struck a couple of people, and one of those people died. And when the Kansas City Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl again this past year, there was a lot of talk about what kind of security there would be in Kansas City, in the city proper, what kind of police presence, and whether or not there would be a full-on parade and rally and all that. And it was determined that it just wasn't safe enough. There wouldn't be enough police presence. And, you know, sometimes, in fact, just today I heard that the event insurance company is now like, they will not pay anything toward the lawsuit, the wrongful death lawsuit. They said that their policy doesn't cover these kinds of tragedies, public engaged in public. I guess maybe if it had happened on their stage or something, that would have been a different story. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The point I'm trying to make is when you have a bunch of people gathering on public streets, you gotta bring all the guns, bring all the police presence you can, have so much staff, because shit's eventually gonna go down when you have this many people on the city streets in some kind of celebration. Some shit's gonna go down. And last weekend in Cincinnati, shit went down. We'll watch the video. I'm sure you folks have seen it if you've been anywhere on social media. This is what's happened in Cincinnati. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and back away from the panty shot here. Okay, here we go. We can go back to it now.
Help her up! Whoa!
This appears to be the second half of the video. Apparently, I didn't get the first half together. There have been a few people arrested now after several days. After probably 24 to 48 hours, I forget when this was. Let's see. 29th, that would have been yesterday. Yeah, it's like 3 days later. The police chief, the Cincinnati police chief, hey, Rusty Rivers in the chat. The fact that nobody stepped in to stop these savages but cheered it on should be the most disturbing part of society. Cheers and welcome. We'll talk about that in just a minute, Rusty, because we've got, let's do a sad violin for you. Okay. But yeah, you're about to hear some narrative shifting here, because obviously chat disconnected. What's going on over on YouTube? That was weird. So yeah, after several days, the police chief finally got involved with a statement, and people were calling for arrests, and there's nothing, no sign that an investigation was happening or nothing. But I guess, there was something going on, and the police chief finally addressed it. And let's go to this lovely, accountable young lady, the chief of the Cincinnati police.
social media and journalism and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you.
That's you. That's you. Social media and journalism.
Social media, the post that we've seen, does not depict the entire incident. That is one version of what occurred.
Okay, what's the other version? Tell us what the other version is. What context are we missing? You going to tell us?
At times, social media and mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event.
Okay, so you're going to tell us what's being misrepresented. I'm waiting for it. There's only like 20 more seconds in this clip.
What that does, that causes us some difficulties in thoroughly investigating the activity and enforcing the law. Because what happens, that social media post and your coverage of it
goes
distorts
viral.
The content
It
of
goes
what
viral.
actually happened. And it makes our job more difficult.
Oh, really? Okay, so that was the whole clip. Makes your job more difficult. Well, for one, why does your job rely anything at all on commentary on social media? Why does commentary on social media affect people on the ground investigating at all? Like, if you're a neutral police force with no politicization, no dog in the fight, why is other people commenting on their opinions on what's going on? Why does that affect you at all? You should be busy finding the people who were being violent in the streets and not worrying about comments on social media and commentary in the news articles. But you said we didn't have the whole story. What's the other part of the story? Oh, I've seen insinuations all over social media. And let me back up a moment. Before I go there, let me back up a moment and say that 99.9% of the commentary on this tragic video has been pretty much what Rusty Rivers has been saying in the chat, was that these African-American males were wilding out and being violent and attacking a white couple. Now, the pushback, the thing that this lady just insinuated, that we don't have the whole story, is a reaction to that. And now I'm seeing a lot of posts from leftists insinuating that the white couple either started pushing and slapping first, or were using the forbidden word. And somehow that justifies several kicks to the gentleman's ribs. Let me go see if I can find the full-on video, because that's why there was two videos. Let me do this. Okay, there was two videos. They were in the incorrect order. So let's. Even if he slapped first, even if he said the N-word first, his head is being stomped on, his ribs are being kicked. You got a chick getting pushed over and losing her wig.
Yeah! Go Lee!
And yes, the people are cheering it on. And then you have the white girl saying stop and trying to pull him out of the pile. And look, just direct spike kicks to the tip of his temple. Yeah, Rusty Rivers. What Rusty Rivers is saying right there. There is no justification for what we all saw. I don't care if that guy did slap somebody first. I don't care if he did say the N-word first. Getting a guy down on his back in the street and a whole crowd of people surrounding him, spike kicking him in the temple, clobbering him with the heels of their shoes. And then the punch to the lady who, as far as you could tell, let's go back to that other video. Shit. I mean, that just a right hook, right to her temple. She goes down, hits her head on the concrete. What did this young lady do that deserved essentially a life-threatening blow like that? I want to know. It has nothing to do with race. I would say the same thing if roles were reversed. If this was a podunk hick town and a bunch of white dudes surrounded and ganged up on one black dude who was, even if he was being a little unruly. There's proportional force. Yeah, Police Chief Terry Thigi says that the department is still looking for some of the suspects. There have been some arrests. There have been some arrests, and there's been some misinfo about the arrest. This gentleman has been arrested. This appears to be the gentleman who struck the woman. And I've heard a bunch of chatter on social media that this guy is currently out on bond. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true because another thing I've read said, no, he's not currently out on bond. He was out on bond on an assault charge Saturday when the incident happened. He was already out on bond when he assaulted those people. And now he has since been re-locked up in regards to the assault we just saw. So yeah, I do have to say, cheers to that police chief. You tell us we don't know the whole story and blah, 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 but if they've got one of the guys and they're still looking for the others, at least they're doing their fucking job. Cheers. Meanwhile, your bosses, Cincinnati police, your bosses. This woman here is a member of the Cincinnati City Council. This woman here is a member of the Cincinnati City Council. They begged for that beatdown. I'm grateful for the whole story. Someone up here, they didn't have to do him like that. He was obviously drunk. And then this white woman says, yeah, the woman who was punched didn't ask for this. So yeah, Victoria Parks obviously does not want to be reelected, and now her social media accounts have been privated. So you gotta love it. You gotta love it. The race war continues in America. As, people are now cheering on the beating of white people. City council members are cheering on the beating of white people. All right. House Oversight Committee, we reported last week that Ghislaine Maxwell was asking for immunity. That immunity request has been denied. So it doesn't look like Ghislaine Maxwell will be talking to Congress, because that was one of her demands. James Comer said it will not consider a request from Maxwell's attorney seeking immunity in exchange for her testimony to Congress. I think we don't need to get much more into the whole fucking backstory of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure you've heard it all over the last couple of months and the last few years. So there you go. There's that. A lot of people with a lot of questions about what's going on with the Epstein files. And another week goes by and there's not a whole lot to tell. I wanted to give a shout out. Tomorrow night, apparently, there's going to be a debate about Donald Trump and the Epstein files. And it's going to be two of the most controversial people on the internet debating one another about whether or not Donald Trump deserves continued support throughout the Epstein scandal. Here's one of the announcements.
Just a reminder, tomorrow on the show, I will be live a little bit early. This is a late show. I apologize. We're very late tonight. But tomorrow, I will be very early, 9 o'clock Central Time. I will be debating Alex Jones live on the show here. We will be simulcasting it on InfoWars and...
He says here, you can't see, it's rumble.com/Nick J. Fuentes. So Nick Fuentes versus Alex Jones debating on Rumble tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central. That's going to be 9 p.m. Central, 10 Eastern. And I'm not, I'm not promoting it to promote it. I'm not being paid to promote it. I honestly don't care. This seems like something interesting, something we all should probably listen to, just because, these two gentlemen are definitely shunned by a lot of right wingers, but they're also shunned for different reasons and different, they couldn't have more different takes on the problems with being right wing, right? And so let's continue
on this Rumble channel. So tune in to Rumble tomorrow if you're watching live or the replay. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Central Time, I will be debating Alex Jones about Jeffrey Epstein and Trump. And as you know, Alex Jones has been fiercely defending President Trump, and he has been alleging that there is a 5-dimensional chess explanation for why Trump is not releasing the Epstein files. And one excuse after the next, each more ridiculous, each testing the suspension of belief more and more. I called him out. I challenged him. Someone must confront him about these narratives. So everybody's been frustrated. They're saying, Alex Jones, isn't this your whole bag? Jeffrey Epstein, conspiracy theories, elite blackmail sex trafficking rings. You'd think he'd be all over it. But he has come up with many different reasons for why we should keep supporting Trump, or maybe Trump is playing some other game.
I mean, I think I can TLDR this whole thing. I'm going to get to
the bottom of it on behalf of everybody tomorrow, 9 o'clock Central. We're going to have it out. We're going to have it out. I'm going to bring it, and we're going to debate it, and, we'll see. It's not going to get ugly. I hope it won't. I consider Alex a friend, but it's going to be a hot debate. So tomorrow, 9 o'clock Central, make sure to tune in. Him and me, head to head. It's going to be an epic battle.
Okay, so I think I got the TLDR on this thing. So I'm still going to watch. This is going to be interesting, but I can already tell you, it's going to be Trump's trying to do whatever he can to fight the globalist influence in his cabinet, right? And then Nick Fuentes is like, well, you say that, but he's surrounded by Israeli lobbied and Israeli plants and people who are pushing him to do the bidding of Israel. And of course, you have Maxwell and her father and all the ties to the Jewish arm of the Epstein files. So that's going to be Nick Fuentes' angle. Alex Jones is going to be the Trump's got to play the long game with the globalists, and that's where this is going to wind up. Sanglet 86 says, would anyone put editing or fabricating a new list past Mueller? No, I wouldn't. But at the same time, I think, the chips have to fall where they may. I think if you're the Trump administration and you've promised this to the American people, I think even a doctored fake list, I think, what you need to do is gather as much evidence you can that the shit is fake and release it anyway and say it's fake and here's showing why it's fake. But at this point, even the evidence showing it's fake could be faked, and everyone's going to call bullshit no matter what you release. So I say you have to release something. And I think it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter if it's a new list. Who's on the list? See, there's this whole conversation about, is Trump on the list? I don't give a fuck if Trump's on the list. Trump could be on the list touching children. You know what? Okay, whatever. That's fake. Tell me who else is on the list. I want to know the other names on the list and tell me why those are either fake or real. I want those people to tell me what they were doing on Epstein Island. I want those people to tell me why the list is wrong. But whether you support Trump or not, there's one thing that Trump is doing that you can support. And that is taking the newest viral memes and tweeting out on the White House Twitter, the most viral memes in some of the most glorious fashion. Let's go to one now.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
Family of 4 going on holiday.
Book now with Jet2 Holidays.
Oh, that was from the White House X account. All right, let's get into a couple more news stories and then we'll wrap this thing up. Oh, I guess there's only one more news story. Shit, I burned through the topics today. Burned through them quick. Which sucks. It sucks. Let me just say, it sucks that I burned through the topics that quick because there has been this situation I've been having with the Rumble Creator Program. I have been eligible to reapply for the Rumble Creator Program since July 6th. There's just one problem. I have not streamed 30 hours in 30 days. I have, but 2 of those streams, Rumble Studio went down and I had to stream directly from OBS, so the hours didn't count. And it seems like every time I do a 2-hour stream or a 4-hour stream over on my, or I'll say 3 hour, an hour and a half stream on this channel or a 2-hour stream on my gaming channel. 2 or 3 hour stream on my gaming channel. It's like every time I do a stream, one of my older streams falls off. So I'm still stretching this out. I'm trying to stretch this out and get as much clock time streaming under my belt as I can, just so that, I don't know why. Because it's not going to do any good, apparently. I think Rumble is fudging the numbers in some way, shape, or form. I swear I'm on this computer all the time streaming, and yet I can't ever make their metrics work. Anyway, ESPN has finally fired Shannon Sharp after the $50 million R-word lawsuit. So I don't remember if I covered this or not. I think I covered it a few weeks back when he paid the settlement. Shannon Sharp era is over at ESPN. They've severed ties with the Football Pro Hall of Famer. Days after he settled a bombshell $50 million lawsuit that accused him of R-wording. He was named in a civil lawsuit filed in Nevada in court in April, alleging he committed assault SA and S Battery and Battery. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, accused Sharp of SAing her multiple times in 2024 and 2025. Sharp denied all allegations of coercion and misconduct, was involved in an ugly back and forth with the accuser and her attorney, with intimate details of the relationship being exposed. We covered some of that nasty stuff. Consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, language, and fantasy scenarios, Davis said. Sharp stepped away from ESPN in the wake of the allegations. Yeah, he said he was going to be back when football season came back. Well, guess what, folks? Preseason football starts next week. Next week. Yeah, so here he is in April. At this juncture, I'm electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. Will be devoting time with my family, responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. Said in April. He said he'd be back when football season came back. ESPN said this is a serious situation. We agree with Shannon's decision to step away. But this goes to show you. You get a $100 million contract from ESPN. Woman comes out of nowhere, makes these allegations. You make your public statement saying how fake they are. You pay her $50 million anyway. And you still lose your job and your $100 million contract. I mean, if the allegations were fake, why'd you pay her, Skip? I'm just joking. Shannon. He always does that. Skip, back when he was with Skip Bayless. Why'd you pay her if you didn't do it? Because it did you no good. You don't get to keep your career. Anyway, folks. Those are the stories I got today, folks. Sort of a shorter show than I'm used to putting on, but it is what it is. We are after the 7 o'clock hour Central. So let me go find somebody to raid. While I do that, folks, if you could do me a favor, click that thumbs up button or the repost, or if you're newer here, please click the follow button. And then once we've wrapped up, you can go watch a second video on my channel. That'd be really appreciative of that as well. Rumble. Yeah, I forgot where Rumble was. Okay, there it is. Okay, we got Salty Cracker live. I don't care about that. Hey, Dr. Pyrostein's live. I'll send you to Dr. Pyrostein. All right, folks. As usual, thank you to everybody for showing up in the chat. I really appreciate it. Really love y'all. Cheers to you. And another cheers to everyone who might be listening on demand, or listening to the audio only and unable to type. Come back later and leave me a comment down in the comments section. Cheers to you folks. All right, that's going to do it for today. Sanglant sending me naked anime models to put together. All right. All right, till next time, folks. Follow me on all the social media down in the description as well. Oh, yeah, that's probably... Oh, yeah, a show note. This Saturday, I don't know if there's going to be a show or not. So we're usually live every Wednesday and Saturday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. You may have heard, I recently, about a month ago, had a death in the family. We're finally going to be doing the celebration of life for that person this weekend. So I am not sure what I'm going to be able to do as far as a show. Please, down in the description is links to my social media. If you could follow me on those. And I will do a show at some point this weekend. I just don't know when and where. I really just don't know when and where. And coming up probably a week after that, there will be a Wednesday show that I'll be moving to Tuesday, but I'll have more of an update on that as things develop. So yeah, the schedule's going to be a little wonky for the next couple weeks. My big apologies to all of y'all who are used to tuning in, same bat time, same bat channel. But yeah, we got to make a couple of changes to the schedule for the first couple weeks of August. So, but yeah, until next time, folks, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. I'll send you Dr. Pyrestein. Have a good rest of your week, everybody. Good night.